Hello class, this is a lesson on converting survey results into two-way tables. So here is our survey represented as a Venn diagram. We have students who studied history and students who studied geography, and those who may have not studied either. And here we go. So we need to put these numbers as well as numbers that aren't shown but we can add up to into each of these boxes here. So the first thing we do is we have to place into these our events. Now the first instinct that most students have is just to put history here and then geography here. Now if you did it this way, it wouldn't make any sense because we don't know what belongs here. So instead, it wasn't fully outlined because it would make it too complicated in the previous lesson. But what we put in each of these is if we have some event A in the same axes or on the same side, you would put not A, its complement. Same thing if we had a different event B, underneath it we would, on the same side, we would put the complement, not B. So in our example here we have two events, history and geography. Okay, so I'll just pick for this one. A is history, so I'm going to put history here. And the complement of history, some might think it's geography, but they're not actually opposites. So to make it easier, instead of thinking what it is, we'll just say it as not history. And the same thing for this one. Well, if that's A, this must be B. So we put geography here. Geography. And underneath it, it must be not geography. Geography, is that going to fit? I'll make it. There we go. Now it's just a matter of placing numbers into each of these boxes here, these 6 boxes. Now, the easiest one that we can do is our grand total, which belongs here. So how many students were surveyed in this survey? So the total, well, wouldn't just be every single number here, because it's everyone inside the rectangle. So this is our sample space. We'd be 13 plus 5 plus 9 plus 4. 13 plus 5 plus 9 plus 4. That will equal to 31. 31. So we know that there are 31 people in total being surveyed. The next easier one to do is this intersection here, because look, it's the crossing between those who studied history and those who studied geography. It's already there for us, this number here, 13. 5. That 5 should go there. Now those are the more obvious ones. But if I point it out to you, it would be a lot easier. But take a look. How many students now studied geography? Don't worry about this box right now. I just want this box here. How many students studied geography in total? I'll give you a moment. Geography, and put geog. Well, let's ask ourselves, did these 13 people study geography? No, they didn't. Did these 5 study geography? Well, they studied history and geography, so that's a yes. So it's going to be 5 people did. Did these 9 people study? Yes, they did, because they belong in that box. Oh, sorry, in the box, in that circle of geography. So we have 5 plus 9 is 14. So we have geography here. That is 14. Same thing, we'll get this grand total, this total here of history students. So same thing, we'll ask ourselves, did these 13 people study history? Yes, they did. Did these 5 people study history? They also did, because they're part of the circle. So that's and 5 more. So that gives us 18 in total. Now, we can get these values as well. This one, these 4 here. I'll start with this one here. I'll label this one a pronoun. We'll label it W. We don't know what W is, but we do know, take a look, 5 plus W will equal to 14. So I'll write this one down here in the bottom. Here we'll put it here. I know that 5 plus W is equal to 14. Take a look. 5 plus W equals 14. So then if I move the 5 across, we get W equals 14 minus 5, which will give us 9. Now if you take a look, that number actually will go here. But it wasn't quite obvious to begin with, was it? I find it easier to solve with just some algebra. So I know that W there, it's 9. So I'll just erase that. 9. Same thing, I can do the exact same thing with this value here. I'll label this X. WX, so I know 5 plus X is equal to 18. Take a look, 5 plus something X is equal to 18. Solving for X, I'm going to move this one across there, so we get X is equal to 18 minus 5, which gives us 13, which once again there it is, but it wasn't as apparent. I prefer solving it using algebra. That there is 13. Now where can we go from here? We can't solve these ones, can't get this one, but I can get this value here. Can you see how? I'll label that Y. Take a look. This has to add up to 31. 14 plus Y equals 31. Take a look. 14 plus Y is equal to 31. Same thing, I'm going to move the 14 across. Y equals 31 minus 14. That will give me 27. That will give me 17. So that value there, Y, is 17. Do the exact same thing. This value here, I'll label it Z or Z, whichever you prefer. Take a look. 18 plus Z equals 31. 18 plus Z equals 31. moving the 18 across, so it's going to be Z equals 31 minus 18. That will give me 13. So that value there is 13. That there is 13. Now this final one here, we can go either 13 plus something equals 17, or actually, if you take a look, think about this. How many students did not study geography and did not study history? Take a look. This person studied history, so we don't want to count them. These studied both. These 9 studied just geography, but we want those who didn't study geography, so we don't want to count anyone here, and don't want to count anyone here. It must be that 4. Alternatively, you could just have done 13 plus something equals 17. That's the 4. So that's how we did it. We've converted this table into, this Venn diagram into a two-way table.